Okay, which means based on the numbers, China is producing just half of each at the moment. This is China. I shall put 1. What does 1 refer to? Table 1. This is what you see under table 1. See, China was 150. Okay. Vietnam, on the other hand, is here. Squiggly line and make it straighter. Vietnam can produce 40 or 20. But Vietnam is currently at 10, 20. So this is Vietnam 1. China 1, I'll just put C1 to save space. Okay. So I've just shown you how table 1 is represented here. Okay. Are you okay? Vietnam is having 10 wheat, 20 cloth. 10 wheat, 20 cloth. China is having 100 wheat, 50 cloth. Any questions? Okay. Alright. So based on these numbers, okay, you're going to add in the same explanations, alright? So you're going to explain op cost of producing each good, right? Of producing each good in China, represented by C, and Vietnam, represented by V. So we're going to say, alright, now we see that the op cost of 1 wheat, right, in the case of China, the op cost of producing 1 wheat, because you can produce either 200 wheat or 100 cloth. So the op cost is 0.5 cloth. Whereas for 1 cloth, it's just the reverse. Then in Vietnam, 1 wheat, the op cost is 2 cloth. 1 cloth, the op cost is half a wheat. So after you explain the op cost, you can identify their CA, which means China has a CA in wheat production, Vietnam has a CA in cloth production. Do you follow? And after this, they are going to specialize. Specialize. Okay. So we assume complete specialization for Vietnam, partial specialization for China. So the numbers will follow the ones in my book. Okay. And if you look at my book, Vietnam specializes completely in cloth. So the wheat factory has been closed down. That's why Vietnam will be here. From V1, they have moved to V2. Okay, China specializes a little bit. They move 20% of the resources over. So China will be at 120 and 40. This is China 2. Okay. What happens is they are going to trade based on the terms of trade. How do you get the terms of trade? Basically, you compare, right, the upper and lower range of the op cost for each good. Okay. So if I'm looking at the case of wheat, okay, in the case of wheat, the upper range is here, lower range is here. Right? In the case of cloth, likewise, upper range, lower range. Okay, so based on this ratio, a good terms of trade will be 1 wheat for 1 cloth. Okay. So if again you are wondering, hey, what are you doing here? I'm showing you how to explain the whole theory of CA without the table, but with a PPC, because it saves you time drawing the table. So you have the PPC and you have 4 steps. What are the 4 steps? O, C, S, T. So some guys, they want to become an OCS, Officer Cadet School trainee. OCS trainee, okay? These are the 4 steps. Okay? So when they trade, okay, we assume they trade, okay, 20 wheat for 20 cloth. Alright? Because the terms of trade is 1:1. You just memorize the numbers in your book or in my book. Okay. So when you have 20 and 20, Vietnam will end up here. 20 and 20. Marked by the point in red. Okay. Whereas China will end up here. 160. This point will be China 3. Can you see that? So Vietnam is here, China is here. Okay. So the terms of trade line is basically a 1:1 ratio. So the final points land on the terms of trade line. Okay. But basically, if you look at the points in red, each country has managed to consume outside of their PPC. China is consuming outside of that black line, which was their PPC. Now they are on the red point. Vietnam is consuming outside of the blue line, which was their PPC as well. So trade has enabled both countries to consume more. So you can tie this to, oh, trade is good for material standards. You can also say that trade helps to alleviate scarcity. Okay. So either way, yeah, benefits of trade can be shown without a table because there's no loss of data if you use this chart or this diagram. This diagram is after all just 2 lines to replace 4 tables. Worth investing time in learning this. Okay? So that's something that we left behind from last week. How to use the PPC to explain the theory of CA. I can see a lot of interest in this because you can see how it saves time. Okay? Because some students are asking, should I avoid trade questions because theory of CA is so long? I'll say sometimes you can run, you cannot hide. Okay? In the exam, 6 questions doesn't mean you always get a choice, huh? 6 questions, 3 of them could be very unorthodox, then you only have 3. What if 4 are unorthodox, you only have 2 and what if 1 is theory of CA, then you do 1 of 6. Okay? Cannot be. Can? So you have to prepare for every contingency, you have to diversify, you have to study every topic. So you have to diversify your food supply, right? Okay, so this is done. Are you alright? Last week we had a mind map for international econs. Alright? So I will show you the mind map and I'll tell you what we are doing today. Have you heard of patterns of trade? Trade patterns. We cannot just say, oh yeah, I heard of patterns of trade. I know it's something like that, and then move on. You need to know